Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Kinprint. For all your company's promotional needs, they do it all. Apparel, promotional products using the highest quality brands. They do logo design, signage, and printing. Kinprint will promote your brand with excellence. Visit kinprint.ca. Happy Sunday night to you, Oiler fans. Welcome to Got Your Back, live stream post-game edition. Oilers with a convincing win, their second in a row, 8-2 over the Anaheim Ducks. Jason Strudwick standing by to break it all down. As always, Got Your Back, brought to you by our great title sponsor, Sherwood Buick GMC. And man, did they ever have a great event this weekend. Their Black Friday and black tie events. Look at the staff all dressed up sharp. It was a great turnout. They know how to do it right over at Sherwood Buick GMC. By the way, mention that the guys that Got Your Back sent you when you head over there, and you'll receive specialized pricing. You'll also get 3 free ultimate detail packages on new or used vehicles as well. Visit Phil and the crew here in Sherwood Park or online. Check them out at www.gmcpod.com. That is Sherwood Buick GMC. We've got an event coming up later this week. We'll be at Long Shots. Looking forward to it. Post-game, I think Thursday night, Struds and I will be down there. Come on out. Watch the game. We'll be hanging around and talk some hockey and then shooting a post-game podcast as well. As we say good evening to Struddy. How was the weekend, buddy?
It was actually pretty quiet. I had a nap.
I had a nap.
Not that that's the top of my list. But
that was the top of your list. It's the first thing you said, so apparently it's the top of your list.
Yeah, it was good. You know, well, like I love doing post-game pods, but reality is like most mornings I'm up by 6 and out the door and on the ice at 6:30 or 7. So I don't have a job. I'm not saving lives. Entertaining maybe, but not saving lives. So I get it, but it does kind of catch up to you. So by the end of the week, I'm like, oof. Man, this guy needs a nap. And so I said, like 20 minutes. It's not like I'm sleeping for 2 hours.
You had a 20-minute nap, and that was notable enough for you to mention it tonight?
That's all I need. I remember the grade 6 teacher who told me that all you need is like a 10, 20-minute nap. And I was like, she's nuts. And now I'm like, she was right. She was 100% right. That's the stage I'm in.
Yeah, well, I've been a little laid up, buddy. Something has happened with my knee. Now, I mean, the gout suggestions are going to start coming in here on the stream, but like I've spent the last 2 days basically on the couch. I don't even know what happened, Struds. My knee just blew up. It's on like the outside of my right kneecap. It is so, I can't put any pressure on it. I went and saw our good buddy Tyler Fix, and he's got me heading down the right path. Buddy, it's just been messy.
Yeah. Well, the elliptical. You know, if I had $1 for every time someone told me I have an injury, working out really hard on the elliptical, I think you got to find another way of working out, buddy, staying fit.
I know. I need to go easier on
Too high of impact on that
100%.
elliptical.
Yeah. 100%. What's next? Sure. Riding the trapeze? Maybe.
I know. Well, anyways, I'm going to go see Tyler again on Tuesday, and hopefully we'll get it sorted out. But it's been kind of a weird couple of days, but happy to be doing a post-game podcast tonight. Let's get to breaking down a pretty good game by the Edmonton Oilers. A breakdown will be brought to you by Mr. Dirk, the iconic men's clothing store here in Edmonton, founded in 1939. If you haven't been, you definitely have to go check it out. It's just off White Avenue and 102nd Street. They got a fantastic showroom, but the clothing selection they have is off the charts. Beautiful suits and pants, sweaters, and Struddy loves the turtlenecks. We had him in there one day, couldn't keep his hands off the turtlenecks. They got great casual wear as well. Go see Sterling and Dan and the amazing crew. You can check out everything they have online as well at mrdirk.com. Struds, I want to get your headline thought on the game, but I'll just quickly give you what I was thinking in that first period. For the first time this season that I can recall, the Edmonton Oilers bailed out their goalie. The Edmonton Oilers sensed their goalie was having a tough night, and they went out and gave him some run supports. The Oilers gave Stuart Skinner time to find his game. That's the way it's supposed to work sometimes.
I think that's a great place to start. That's exactly what happened. The first goal, I'm not sure that was totally it's on him, but the second goal, he actually moved his pad out of the way and the puck went underneath it. I didn't love the way Vinny Darnay played that puck inside in front of him, but still, that's a very savable puck, and that's something he's got to do for his teammates.
It almost looked like he went down a little early and then double punched like he was going to get back up. The one that slid under his pad, was that the first one or the second one?
Second.
Yeah.
First one was kind of backdoor Sally.
Right. Yeah, he just seemed a little unsure of himself. And then he's bobbling pucks that are getting lobbed in. He's having them, get past him and off the post. Like, that was really messy for Stuart Skinner. And I'm sure everyone in the building and everyone watching was like, oh my goodness, right? Coming off the shutouts. But the team did a good job. And Struds, the offensive confidence that was lacking for so much of the year. And let's be clear, this Anaheim team is a depleted team. Like, that is not, they're not throwing a lot at you, but still, for the Oilers to go get it back the way they did was meaningful to me.
Well, let's put it in context. So the Capitals have been a very, very hot team heading into that game.
9-1-1, yeah.
Yeah, so that was a really hot team. So if the Oilers had lost that game, let's say 5-0, then, beat these guys up like they did, you're like, okay, well, what's really going on here? They now beat a really good team or a team that's playing well in the Capitals. And then today they beat up a team that is really young. Like, their decor, you look at it is young, man. Yeah. There's a lot of youth in that group, and that's not usually a recipe for playing against high-end talent on the other side. So, what I really liked about the game is they get scored on and bang, they answer right away. Right back with Kane gets that goal, and Connor Brown, thankfully gets his first point. I hope that kind of gets his wheels greased a little bit. And then they get scored again, and they come back again, and then they come back again, and come back again. So a lot of good things there to kind of show resilience. And I think early in the season, we might have seen them kind of fold their tent and look like, okay, something's bad is going to happen. Instead, like, hey, let's go get this back. Let's go get this back. And they did. So a lot to like. I mean, after the first period, the game was basically over, but that you really like that first period by the Oilers and the resiliency they showed, and then kind of giving their goalie saying, hey, man, we got you. You've done it before. We got you tonight.
We'll take lots of questions off the stream in our Ask Us Anything segment. We're going to pick one off along the way here. Where is it? Neil Garrity was the one that caught my eye because it's what I want to talk about next. Neil says, Nurse looked like a number one D-man tonight. Struds, this is, man, when Darnell Nurse plays this way, and again, we'll keep the competition in mind, confidence moving it. I mean, what did you see from Nurse tonight?
Well, I've talked about his game before, and he is a great skater, and he's got, he moves around the ice well. He's physical, moving the puck, and good stick. But he is at his best when he moves the puck up. I don't believe he has to carry the puck all the way up the ice all the time to be effective. I don't see him in that setup. I look at Cale Makar. I wanted that puck on his stick all the time. I don't care if it's behind his own net or behind the opposition net. With Darnell Nurse, I want him to pass the puck up as quick as he can and then support the rush. And today you can see the plays he made. He was snapping that way up the ice. Now, I think the defense for the Ducks was a little bit askew. And, especially the Nugent-Hopkins one, like, it just right up the gut. That's a tough one to swallow for the D coach for the Ducks. But still, Darnell was snapping that puck, making strong, hard, confident plays. And that's when he's at his best. He doesn't need to carry the puck. And I know he wants to, because he wants to make a difference. He hits that blue line, he shouldn't have the puck on his stick. He should be getting it back, not giving it.
3 assists, 3 shots, 5 attempts. Had 5 block shots as well. Was all over the place. I'm surprised. I was just checking out the game sheet here. Despite the spread and the score, he still played 25-10 tonight. Yeah. Why did they play him that much?
I think second power play. I'm going to credit the second power play for that.
I guess so.
I mean, he must have had 2 minutes plus on the power play.
He had 2:30 shorthand. He had 3:34 on the power play. Yeah. So he's down around the 20 minute, right? What was he at even strength here? Just let me check real quick while we're chatting.
About 19 probably.
1906. That is actually pretty reasonable. Real solid performance from Darnell Nurse tonight at both ends of the ice. Was a set play, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins was asked by Jason Greger after the game if that was a set play or what happened there. As we go to the Weiss Johnson sound box, here's Nugent-Hopkins on Nurse.
So that was all Nurse. He called it right before the face-off, and I just went to the spot, and he made a great pass. And definitely was all him.
Here's Darnell himself.
They came out and had a really good push. We were down 2-1. We weren't deterred by it, though, and just stuck to our game. And we're able to capitalize on the chances that we got. And I think that's what's special about this group is that we're a resilient group, but we got to continue to play the way that I think the standard that we know we can play at, and it's got to be every night.
And a reminder that our sound box brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. Until December 1st, receive a complimentary duct cleaning when you buy a new furnace. This exclusive deal allows you to not only upgrade your heating system, but also improve the air quality in your home. Visit weiss-johnson.com. Okay, let's get to Connor McDavid. Here are the stats: 1, 4, and 5 tonight. He's got 12 points in his last 4 games, 9 points in his last couple of games. Don't look now, inside the top 15, I believe, in scoring. He's coming along here, Struds.
Yeah, no, is he in top 15? I don't. Is he that far?
I'll check here. It's because I heard. I heard someone say maybe Maddie ask a question. Yeah. Go ahead and give us your thoughts on McDavid. I'll take a quick look.
Yeah, so I do think the conference was an issue for him, and man, it seems true for a lot of guys. But when he's moving and passing the puck hard and has got that additional little gear, that extra little speed, that's when he's really a handful to handle. Well, that's obviously goes without saying. And we've seen it the last couple games, maybe, Carolina, and then definitely in Washington, and definitely tonight. And he's just skating like that. The play he made to Hyman, where I don't actually think the play that Nurse made, that was a set play. I think he called it unaudible there. I think the one that Connor McDavid scores and gets the pass to Hyman, I believe that's a set play. I think that's something they've looked at. Because what happened is Connor wins a draw. He skated around the net to the other side. The puck went from, I think it was Nurse to maybe Kulak over to Darnell. And then that just at that timing, McDavid's coming up the ice, boom, taps it to him. He comes around, Hyman opens up at the back door because they all think he's going to shoot, and he goes back door. I believe that to be a talked about pre-game play that they hammered out, because it just doesn't happen. That I think it'd be unlikely. So let's watch for that as we go through the rest of the season. But yeah, he was busting tonight, man.
So currently in 16th place in the scoring race. So he's got 25 points, 7 goals and 18 assists, 10 points out of the lead at the pace he's scoring at right now. 10 points out of the lead. Don't count Connor McDavid out. He can throw together 9 points in 2 games like nobody else. Pretty unreal how good he was in this one. Special team, Strud, should we go there next? I think, we've talked a lot about the power play lately, but why don't we start talking about this penalty kill? The Mark Stewart-led penalty kill. Listen to Chris Knobloch talking about the job that he's watched Stewart do, who, by the way, took this over when Knobloch got here.
Obviously we put it on his plate. And for everything I've seen so far, the meetings he's doing and what he's telling the guys is phenomenal. And so, there's many reasons, and I think the job Stewie's doing is a big part of it.
Ran really quick numbers, so me and math, these may or may not be bang on. 90% since the coaching change, since Stewart has taken it over, 26 for 29. Their penalty kill 3 for 3, and I believe they're 13 for 13 in their last 3 games. What a huge swing for this team to be able to rely on this.
This was something that we identified before the season. Like this PK has to be good. Now let's get before this craziness has happened the last month and a half. That was there where they have to bring this into the top half of the league. They were outside the top half of the league. And, for whatever reason, it really wasn't clicking earlier in the year. Nothing really was. But, I think they're trying to get defined roles for guys, right? You got Janmark killing penalties. I believe Fogle was killing penalties tonight, if I was correct. Mm-hmm. You've got, other guys like Connor Brown killing penalties, Ryan McLeod killing penalties, Nugent Hopkins. So you're starting to get guys do it, that maybe just to assign them roles. And you didn't see as much Leon and Connor today. Now that might have been a bit score reflective. We'll see what happens moving forward. But I like that. You need to give people roles on a team. Brownie's talked about it. I've talked about it. Can't ask, hey man, Rishaug, we need you tonight for those 6 even strength minutes. 4 of them will be in the first period. Like it just doesn't work, right? So I really, it feels like, and again, 2 kind of weird games, but it feels like Knobloch is trying to get people, bring them into the game, get them going. And, even then the power play, obviously the score got away from them, but I like how much he's using that second power play unit because they look confident. Like I think that looks like a pretty confident second power play group as well.
Chris Knobloch here on McDavid and on what you just talked about, Struds. Great points by you. They're spreading those minutes around thanks to a couple of guys being injected here.
I think a lot of things are happening right now. You can see the confidence in some of our players, and I think McDavid's probably leading that with his point production and making plays. But I think a lot of it is of our team. We're getting 4 lines that are playing really well. The insertion of Janmark into our lineup has helped, taking away some penalty kill responsibilities from our top guys. And and Brown also. Brown and Janmark have been a really good pair.
Shane Matheson says the defense was supporting each other, passing the puck with authority. Forwards were a bit lazy, but still with sorry, I can't figure out the rest of that. Anyways, overall better quality in their what's that, buddy?
Must be your knee acting up.
Yeah. I know it's affecting my ability to focus and read. But just overall, kind of a better overall simplified game, hey? Like they boiled it down to a game that seems like it has more of a chance of working night to night.
Well, I love the way Hyman kind of talked about it in the post game. He's saying, no, it's a simple game. And a simple game means putting behind their players and making them, defend from there. Usually when you put it behind their D-men, there's no chance of it being a turnover coming your way. So you get it behind them. Now you're playing there in that half-court offense. The Oilers, I want to say, especially in the first period, they were absolutely buzzing the offensive zone. Interchange of forwards and D and forwards, left to right, up and down, below the goal line to top. Like it's so beautiful to watch. And I love that style of hockey. It's skilled. It can be a heavy game. There's a lot of things that they were doing right there. So I love it. But guys, I just want to go back quickly to the penalty kill.
Yep.
I know it seems to be in style to play your top players on the penalty kill. I get that. But we've talked about this too, and I just want to address it. The cost to the rest of your lineup, there is a cost because they're not involved in the game. That's the cost there is. So, what's the trade-off for X number of shorthanded goals instead of maybe getting your third and fourth liners an extra 2 minutes a night or a minute a night, whatever it is? There's a trade-off there. And I think you have to figure out what works best for every team. But I know it doesn't work well having a third and fourth line that isn't involved in any kind of specialty teams. That's a killer. And I hope Chris is kind of Knobloch is working away from that to try to get going. Now, guys have to show up and do it right. Guys being like Brown or Fogle and all those guys. But that's when your first 2 lines are buzzing, that's great. Now the third and fourth line are going and they're feeling because they're getting extra ice time. They can also contribute on the power play, on 5-on-5 because of what they're getting. And we got to be careful. What's the trade-off? What's the trade-off for what did they have last year in shorthanded goals? They had a ton.
They did, and it helped. I like it when it's last 10 seconds and you throw them out there.
Sure.
If there's a whistle or something, you can throw them out there. Last pairing to go out because they're going to get a 5-on-5 shift against probably a third or a fourth line, depending on who was out for the other team's power play. So I don't mind it when it's really deep into the penalty kill, like a $1:45 or later. I don't mind it there at all. But I agree with you, Struds. They had guys taking regular shifts, some skill guy, high-end guys, McDavid, Draisaitl taking some regular penalty killing shifts to kill off the bulk of it. And I totally agree with you, man. More guys need to be given that opportunity. I think it's a great point. Here's the Weiss Johnson soundbox. One more time, the captain.
Well, confidence, obviously a big part of it. I think our whole team is playing better, and I think that's why you're seeing guys start to have success. It's not just a light switch that, one guy or two guys can just turn on. It takes a whole group, and I thought our group's been playing better of late, and you're starting to see guys have a little bit of success. And a little bit too is it just going in,
Yeah, it is going in. And for Draisaitl, how about him hitting that one-timer? I know it wasn't the sharpest angle, but he buried it, no question about it, and that helps.
Oh, make no mistake about it, man. You're missing all those shots and not feeling it. Now he made that one look easy, right? And yeah. I wish you would have given a little more love to that. I know it's a little bit later in the game, but you haven't hit that in a while, and your buddy 97 drops it right in your lap, and you bury it. So it just gets it started, right? You just need to get that wheel spinning again. Yeah. And now here we go again. The penalty kill looks good. They're moving it around, and they really look. Now, when teams are looking at the power play, they're like, okay, well, look where they scored from here. Look where they scored from here. They got Bouchard shooting from point. Now you kind of get an opposition's head because there's multiple threats going.
Real solid overall game for the Oilers tonight. Coming up in our takeaways segment, we're going to dig in on the game coming up against the Vegas Golden Knights. How are you feeling about the Oilers, the way they're playing right now? This is a big test. We know this is the defending Cup champions, a team that beat them last year. Is this a good time for the Oilers to be taking them on? Struds and I are going to dive into that matchup. We'll have our Ask Us Anything segment where we'll take your questions off the stream. Struddy's World, little preview, Struddy. What do you got tonight?
We're going to talk Jack Campbell. And
love it.
People aren't going to like it. They're not going to like what I have to say, Shogger, because
okay.
I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it.
You're tired of it already, and you haven't even said it yet. So looking forward to Struddy's World coming up. Tons more ahead on the podcast. Stick around.
Hey everyone, it's Kelly here from United Sport and Cycle. Christmas is just around the corner, and we've got everything you need for the athlete and sports fan on your list. With over 30 different sports under one roof, including hockey, bikes, ball, and our amazing fan shop, United is your one-stop shop for everything sport. Don't know what to buy? A United gift card is always a fan favorite. United Sport and Cycle, your Santa's workshop for over 95 years.
If you're looking for a night out on the town and want to make sure you and your fellow fun lovers arrive safe and in style, call Ahmed Enterprises. With their stretch limos and party buses, they can accommodate groups up to 22. Servicing Edmonton and area, Ahmed Enterprises provides luxurious, reliable, professional transportation. Whether it be weddings, parties, casino nights, game night at the arena, or any occasion, give them a call at 780-231-6018 or check them out online at ahmedenterprise.com. Mention Got Your Back sent you to get 10% off your luxury ride.
Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park in Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca. All right, time now for takeaways brought to you by Redefined Health. Are you a 46-year-old male in not great shape that suddenly woke up one day with your knee killing you? Well, give Dr. Tyler Fix a call, because I'll tell you, they'll take fantastic care of you. Actually worked out really well. I had a chance to get down there. They were able to squeeze me in right away. Really cool office they have down there, Redefined Health. And kind of a nice modern feel, open atmosphere, pretty cool. It was great to actually get a chance to meet Tyler and some of his staff, and they took great care of me. So recommend you go down there and check it out. If you got anything that's bugging you, you need a little bit of help, give them a call. Visit them at redefinedhealth.com. I will be back there on Tuesday for my follow-up, as Dr. Tyler Fix has taken on, well, a heck of a patient in me. Maybe I'll set him to task on my back next, Struddy, once he gets my knee sorted out.
Full body. You need a full, just start at the bottom and work your way up.
Yes. Start at the gout toe and work your way
God.
north.
Oh,
Pretty
man.
good comment on the stream here from Ridley Chen. He says maybe those skinny jeans will help to keep the swelling down.
Haven't worn them yet. They're still in my closet.
God.
I've not broke them out of the closet yet. Too funny. Okay, Struds. So for our takeaway segment here, let's talk about the Vegas Golden Knights. And, what do you think of the timing of this game and the way that it sets up for the Oilers, where their game is at and where Vegas is, maybe more importantly, where Vegas's game is at, right? Shutout in 3 of their last 6 games.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's pretty clear that there's a 3-horse race in this Pacific Division, right? You've got Vancouver, the Kings are on absolute fire. Then you got Vegas just hanging on just above both those teams. And no one else has really stepped up. The Oilers would like to get in that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
The Oilers game, 2 weeks ago, I'm not, and where Vegas's game was then, I'm not sure this would have been one that you're like, oh, we're looking forward to this one. But this group, the Oilers have seemed to have their game on track. They look a lot more confident. There's reason to believe they're heading the right direction, and Vegas is kind of going the other way. And a big thing I don't think we can forget, Shea Theodore is out.
Yeah.
The very dynamic offensive defenseman. And I believe he's been replaced by Nicholas Hague on that top pairing. And no disrespect to Nick Hague, he is not Shea Theodore, the way he moves a puck or anything. So that just kind of jams up everyone, because not only does it screw up your first pairing, it screws up your third pairing as well.
So they're 14-5-2 on the season. As I said, they've been shut out in 3 of their last 6 games played. They've lost 4 of their last 6. And on top of it, they have to play the Calgary Flames the night before they head into Edmonton. So the Oilers have them in a decent spot here. I mean, listening to some of the Oilers talk about it post-game, it was like, they recognize what it is, but they're so focused right now on just trying to put a few wins together that I'm not sure they can get too enamored with the opponent. But at the same time, this will be meaningful for those players, won't it?
Well, it's not a clash at the top of the division. Let's be honest here. The Oilers are barely ahead of the San Jose Sharks in their division. So it's not like we can talk about this as being a clash of the Titans on a Tuesday night here in Edmonton, which a lot of people are hoping it was. But the Oilers can look at it. They need to get 2 points. They need to claw their way back into this fight. But I don't think anyone around the league is looking at this saying, "Oh man, look at these 2 Titans going at it." It's a team that's struggling a bit with a team that's trying to prove it isn't a struggling or weak team.
But if the Oilers beat Vegas, people are looking for a sign that Edmonton is back, right? That's what the hockey world is waiting for. And maybe after that 3-game winning streak, people thought that they were there, and then they went and did what they did. So if they can beat Vegas and slay that demon, will that be a sign to you that they're more back than maybe we'd have thought after the last 3-game winning streak?
Yeah, because what in their last 8 games, what are they? 5 out of 8, right? They got 10 points out of 16, correct?
Yep.
Yeah, so not bad, but not the place they need to. They're out of what I would call the muck in the Western Conference. Like, just got their head out of it, right? I believe that the jump maybe the Ducks next, and then they kind of get to that next tiers of wild card teams. They're not even in the conversation of making the playoffs legit. Like, they're not even in that. So they're kind of out of that, or close to out of that junk heap. And now they got their eyes set on the guys that are in that wild card hunt. So they I think are like, okay, we're seeing the right steps going forward if they win that game on Tuesday. But if they don't, doesn't mean they're out. If they do, it doesn't mean they're in either, right? Like, it's not, they have not put themselves in a position to have the conversation of like, okay, well, we're a Titan. You're not a Titan. You're trying to prove you are, but it's going to take months to prove you're a Titan in the standings.
Yeah, for sure. Just talking about the standings here for a sec. Just calling it up here and taking another peek. So Edmonton's got 15 points. That's 6 back of the Kraken in the second wild card spot. And by the way, the Kraken have played 2 more games than the Oilers have played. Now, there are a few teams in there to leapfrog for sure. But like, as I read these teams to you, Struds, who scares you over the next 45 games? Who scares you? Anaheim? Calgary? Arizona? Nashville? Seattle? St. Louis? those are the teams that are currently in front of the Oilers. And, as of right now, as I said, Seattle, that second wild card spot is 6 points away. So, I mean, for how bad the Oilers have been, when I take a look at that and the opponents that are between them and where they want to go, is it just me, or does that not seem as daunting as it probably should?
Well, I think having the Oilers won 5 their last 8, I think it makes you feel a little bit better. Obviously, like, okay, they can, make some ground up. But you just mentioned, I believe that when we kind of started, what was it? Maybe 2 weeks ago, they're about 7 points out of a playoff spot, and now they're 6. So they made 1 point up. Like it's a hard grind because
they were 7-0 and then they lost. No, I think they were, what was it? They were 8 out or something. And they won 3 in a row and they made up 1 point.
Right.
But then they lost 3, and now they've won a couple, and they're at 6 now. So it is slow going, but it's only 6.
Well, you can make, I believe you can make at least a point up every 2 weeks, right? I think it's reasonable, unless you go on a tear of like 10 in a row. So for the Oilers, they've just got to just kind of look at their schedule and try to obviously just focus on the night. But overall, a big theme is just try to worry about the group in front of them. Try to catch the next guy. Try to catch the next. Just keep reeling guys in, because the thought of getting into, like, if they set their sights on saying we want to win the division, what are they, like 14 points out or something? Like,
oh yeah, I think they'd be nuts if they started talking about that yet.
That's right. So you need to just focus on just the person in front of you. And so they got 2 points back tonight.
Yeah.
That was absolutely huge, right? They need to get to Vegas would be good to get 2 points back against them now. Again, I think we really got to be cautious about any kind of talk about anything about a title, a division.
No. Yeah, I'm not going there at all. I'm looking at that second wild card.
Like, you're looking at and I think that's the goal right now. You're just one after the other. Just knock those teams off. Just Nashville, Minnesota. Oh no, Minnesota's behind them actually now. Those groups, the Ducks, Seattle, St. Louis, catch those teams and focus on that. So that'd be my focus. Just guys, we've put ourselves in this position where we're playing better, and they have a little bit of swagger now. They really do look like they're the team that we expect them to be, but you got to do it for more than bits and spurts, right? Of 2 or 3 games here. You need to see stretches of it.
Comments here on the YouTube mentions. Obelisk21 says Money Puck, which ranks teams based purely on advanced analytics, still have Edmonton in 9th overall in the league. Bison Mask Guy says, I don't think there's much of a fallout as much of a fallout as we all anticipated. Western Conference is still pretty wide open. There's ground to be made. Schedule is nice for the Oilers. Let's talk about that schedule quick. So they're home to Vegas. One quick little road trip to Winnipeg, but Struds, December? My goodness, what is this? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 game homestand spread out over a couple of weeks, and lots of time at home. Just one little road trip nestled in there. So they've had a tough go on the road. No question they've had a tough go on the road. Is this a good thing to have this much time in the pressure cooker of Edmonton right now?
I think when you're playing well, yeah, you want to be at home. I think that's it. And you want to put on a show for your fans. So yeah, I think the timing's good. I think that they don't really have the luxury of choosing where they play well, right? Like I think they got to just try to play shift after shift the right way. And Zach Hyman positioned the team very well in just talking about, we got to just play the right way, put it behind their team, make them make mistakes, and just keep wearing teams down. And when you do that, it cuts down your own defensive zone mistakes because you're not in your own zone as much. But then people get offensive excitement and they want to be in the off zone, and they're pinching and they're moving around. So yeah, like I like the way it sets up for them, but they're just in no position to be saying, well, this works well. They just said, no one cares how you feel. Like I played with Sam Gagner, and I'll never forget it. One time we were playing, and he's like, how are you feeling? He's like, it doesn't matter. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, my dad was called me one time and said, when I was a little bit younger, he'd say, no, Sammy, how do you feel? And he's like, about to answer. He said, it doesn't matter how you feel. You got a game tonight. And I just love that answer, right? And that's how the Oilers have to approach us. Like, doesn't matter how you feel. Doesn't matter what's going on around you. You need to worry on your own, get your own house in order. And they're trying. And it seems like it is coming around, but get it done.
Ask Us Anything is coming up here in a couple of segments. Zuby, there's some people asking what these 2 wins should mean to the trade discussion around the Oilers and Ken Holland's strategy. Let's make a note to revisit that in our Ask Us Anything segment. Okay, that was Takeaways brought to you by Dr. Tyler Fix and Redefined Health. All right, when we come back in our newest segment, Taking the World by Storm, well, maybe that could be the name of the segment, Taking the World by Storm. No. 2-point convo. Are we leaning that way, Struds?
You are.
Oh, what are you? Which way are you leaning?
I think I'm leaning at taking a peek.
Taking a peek, eh?
Or taking a number. You know, someone tweeted at us the other day. I think it was like
taking a number. Taking numbers.
Taking numbers. Yeah.
Or taking numbers. Yeah, I didn't mind that one either. Taking numbers.
But what is it? It doesn't really it's not really in line with what the segment is. No. You take a look around the league.
Fighting. It's like something, it's like a fight. You used to say that, take the number, we'll get them later, right? Yeah. So it's kind of something that takes the number, we think about it, and then we talk about it later. I kind of like that. There is a tie in there.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work. There was a good suggestion for a new name of the podcast, Gout Your Back. I thought that was funny one that came in there.
That's hurtful, guys.
I don't know who threw that one in there, but definitely a bit of I got to laugh at that one. All right, Struddy's World, as well as Sprinkling the Infield, and Ask Us Anything still to come.
If you own or operate a business, you know the value of a great employee. Just ask Schauger. Pathfind is here to help you find your next star player to help take your business to the next level. Pathfind can help with recruitment, career transition, leadership coaching. They truly have your whole team covered. Building you a championship caliber roster. Find your team's path forward at pathfind.ca.
The Edmonton Sport and Social Club is YEG's top destination for adult recreational sports, offering over 20 different options, including ball hockey, indoor volleyball, pickleball, and now ice hockey for all you fans out there looking to lace them up for the first time or get back into the game after a few years off, like Struddy. Sign up by December 13th for the winter season beginning mid-January at edmontonsportsclub.com. Got some suggestions coming in on the stream. Let's try them. Time now for Taking a Lap. Time now for the Backscape Breakdown. Time for Taking a Tour. Not bad, actually. Not bad. They're all brought to you, Struddy, by
our old buddies at Backscape. This product is taking the online world by storm right now. It is everywhere. Get rid of your unwanted back hair all by yourself with Backscape. The water-resistant rechargeable shaver, coupled with the long handle, lets you take care of business on your own. Shave in any direction with no bumps or cuts. It's easy. It's awesome. Visit backscape.com. That's BAKscape.com and choose from a variety of packages that can be delivered right to your door. Man, that guy is jacked.
It throws me off every time I see him. By the way, cousin Steve was over the other night, Struds, and sent him home with a Backscape.
Nice.
So we're going to have a full review from cousin Steve on the Backscape here in the coming weeks.
He's got quite the collection of hair on his back.
I mean, I'm not going to throw any stones, but yeah, when I asked if he needed one, he said, yes, I do. And he actually asked if he should take 2 out of fear that he might wear it out. And I said, no, buddy, these things are legit. So cousin Steve's Backscape review is going to be coming up here in the not too distant future. Where are we going today, Struds?
Well, we're going to talk about discipline in the NHL, or lack thereof. So let's get to the first one that happened. It was Jacob Trouba, a player I love. I love that he's a captain of the Rangers. I love the way he plays. And I ironically, the year that Yakupov was drafted, he was drafted by Winnipeg. But anyways, he was involved in an altercation. He slashed Frederick of the Boston Bruins. There was a big online, obviously, not surprisingly, people are really upset about it. And he only got was $5,000 fine. Now, people were comparing this slash to the one that I actually witnessed on the ice between Martin McSorley and Donald Brashear.
Who is comparing it to that?
There was some comparisons to that. So I looked at it. My first blush look at this, I was like, oh boy, that's a bad one. But then I looked at it again. I don't think it was as bad as people think. I think it was kind of more of a rotation. It's trying to get it back into the back
Well,
into the scrum and kind of turned his body and hit him on the side of the head. Now, turns out he's okay, Frederick, that's being said. So the $5,000 fine, I am fine with that. It just doesn't look good, but I'm fine with it, Schauger.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you get a guy clubbing a guy over the head, it's like it's going to trigger something and people are going to be angry. Right. It's a dangerous, goofy, stupid play. But not all clubbings over the head are born the same, right? Yeah. There are different ones. A two-handed golf swing is much different than what we saw the other night. It was kind of reactionary. It was kind of I wouldn't even say it was a glancing blow, but I just didn't view it as an intentional swing at a guy's head versus your stick getting a guy across the head, and you definitely need to get dinged for that. So I'm kind of with you on that one, Struddy. It didn't, like when you think a guy hitting a guy over the head with his stick, you think malicious and like really, really vicious and intent to injure. And I just don't attach that same intent.
You also have to look with the spread of the hands. He doesn't bring, I don't believe he brings his hands closer together to kind of get more leverage. Like I know when I wanted to slash, my hands are sliding down my stick or up my stick, so they're pretty close together. And you can absolutely unleash the fury on someone. Oh man, that feels good. That's actually one thing I do miss.
Draisaitl always does. He slides the hand and then gives a little. He did it again tonight. Tonight.
So you it's a little bit different. So 5,000, fine. I mean, that's nothing. It's a drop in the bucket, but I can live with it. Let's go to my second item now. This happened between Minnesota and Detroit. Minnesota has been having a bit of a tough go lately. DeBrincat is kind of skating towards the benches in the neutral zone, and Hartman comes out behind him and he slew foots DeBrincat. Now, you know, there's no call on the play. There's two things I hate: hitting from behind and slew foot. I think those are the biggest chicken shit plays a hockey player at any level can do, whether it's U5 all the way to men's league U95, whatever it is. I hate those. And when I see those, when I was playing, I would get very angry and violent. And this, I feel the same way now as a coach. I cannot stand that. I do not at all like them. So for it not to be called in real time, I have a tough time with that. But the fact that it is going to go, and there will be a hearing for Hartman tomorrow, tomorrow. I think that's a really good move by the league, and I expect a suspension from this. This cannot be overlooked. I believe when people say slew footing's an accident, I don't believe it is. It is not. Like even tonight in the Oilers game, Killorn slew-footed Nurse, and he got 2 minutes. It wasn't as bad as what he saw in DeBrincat. So I'm not going to say that should be suspendable, but it is such a chicken shit play. It is just, it's embarrassing. And I hate those plays. So I hope this is a rather significant one where we're looking at more than one game.
I think the thing about the slew foot too, there are different, like hitting from behind to me is always stupid and always extremely dangerous, right? Slew footing, I mean, it's dangerous. Guys can hit their head and it can be dangerous, but the ones that really bother me, Struds, are heading into the boards. Like if there's any sort of momentum towards the boards, and so the guy's feet, and in this case, it wasn't a catastrophic collision with the boards, but it was heading in the direction of the boards. And it was like, is it just me, or as players, do you not know when you have somebody else's career in the palm of your hands, right? Either he's skating in front of you, and you know if you give him a shove, right? If you slew foot a guy when you're both heading towards the boards, there are certain times where you know when a guy is vulnerable. And when you make those conscious decisions, to me, it is as greasy as it gets.
This is how you know when you have someone in a dangerous position, because you've played the game so long. You understand where the dangerous areas of the ice are and what can happen. So I hated when someone went behind me and poked my legs out, because I don't have control anymore. I'm out of control. Like, so let's go look at the case today. Ratko Gudas, he went to play the puck kind of in the neutral zone and blew a wheel and went flying into the wall and hurt himself.
Yeah.
Like that is not anyone's fault. That's unintentional. Maybe he lost an edge. He slipped on a banana peel, whatever. I hope he's okay, but that's unintentional. Now, if someone provoked that, you'd be really upset. I remember I was playing for Chicago and I was going back to get the puck, and someone put their stick in my feet and I fell down, fell in the wall, and ended up breaking my arm. I knew my arm was broken. I was so mad. I got up and I thought it was one guy. And with my one hand on my stick, I was trying to chop the guy's leg. I was so mad. He's like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was this other guy. A guy
So
named Matt
while you had
Yeah.
a broken arm, you were
Yeah.
chasing a guy around
I
trying to
broke my
chop him
left
with your
hand.
stick?
And I jumped and I was trying to break his ankle and I was trying to slash him. And he's like, it's not me. It's not me. It's that guy. And I'm like, which guy? And he's like, Matt
pointed at-
Bradley. So I go flying over there. I'm like, I'm just losing. And the ref, he knows I'm in pain. And he grabs me and I'm like, I can't really say what I was going to say, but I was mad. And so I go off the ice and obviously my wrist is broken. And I was so mad. And so I didn't really feel the pain, right? You're just, then obviously it came in, but I knew there was something wrong. So
I was going to ask you, like, you were aggressive on the slew footing tonight. I was going to ask you if this came from a bad experience during your career. I kind of sensed it might have.
no, you know what? I don't think it ever, I can't say I was ever slew footed. Not that I remember. I'm sure maybe it happened, but you know, like, to be honest, I was a pretty big guy and, you know, I wasn't super fast. Like, not that I was saying I was slow, but I was kind of in my space and taking on. But I remember one time in Sweden, when I was playing there, we're playing a game and I get hit from behind. Like, it's just, we're playing in summer. I'm like, what are we doing here? This guy just buries me from behind. And I jump up and I skate over to the guy and I cross-check him as hard as I can. And he, big guy, doesn't go down. So now I pull my stick back and I give it the old dry side. I'll slide my hand down my stick and I two-hand this guy as hard as I can. And this time he goes down. And I remember I looked up waiting for the rush and I must have looked like a madman because I remember looking around the ref. I looked at the ref and he was so scared. He's like, oh my God, there's a madman loose on the ice. So I just skated to the bench or to the penalty box by myself and sat down. He was probably like, thank God. So everyone, it's in another people's building. They're whistling and booing me. And the ref just comes over. 2 minutes, cross-check this guy. I should have been thrown out of the league. It was so dirty.
And you got 2 minutes.
Yeah. And the other guy got 2 minutes for hitting from behind.
Coincidentals.
I was like, you know what? It was worth it. We both got our money's worth, but I hit the guy. So I remember I came home and I told my wife, I said, because these kids were young, they're 20 years old. Like, I was 35. I'm a man and I'm chopping down someone who's like 15 years younger, trying to not murder him, but I wanted to hurt him. I'll be honest. I wanted to hurt him because he tried to hurt me. And that's how I used to roll. Now I'm a pacifist though.
Yeah, you're so much softer and gentler now. Yeah. Did you chat in the penalty box at all? Were you a penalty box yapper?
Oh, you know what? When I went over there, I didn't want to be. Every time I'd go to Europe, I didn't want to be that crazy Canadian. It was like losing Canadian. His mind.
Yeah.
Like another time we're in Hungary and we're playing there. It was my cousin. This guy tries to take my knees out. And so in the middle of the play, the kid, he knows I'm mad. He goes and changes. I skate over to his bench and I tell him, if you ever do that again, you're not going to play hockey again. I'm going to hurt you. And he never came out and played. He didn't play the rest of the game because he told his buddy, he's like, what's wrong with Strudwick? He's going to kill me. He's like, yeah, he will. And he didn't play against us. He didn't play again. I was so mad because when you were trying to hurt me, I didn't like it. So to bring it back to the slew foot, I think you know when you're slew footing someone. And I just, it's such a dangerous play because the player you're confronting has no control over his body.
I love it. Somebody trying to keep you a little bit honest here. I might have lost it, so I can't credit it. But the point is if it was Connor McDavid getting hit in the side of the head like that, would you have felt the same?
I've been on the other side of that where I've said that, you know, some of the things we've seen against Connor, I haven't been that worried about. So yeah, I just call as I see it. I can only express what it feels like to be as a player on the ice and what I think is very malicious and what isn't. The Hartman was malicious on the Brinkat. I don't believe that it was a similar for Trouba, and nor did the league. So that's why there's a difference.
Aiden chiming in.
Yeah.
ADN chiming in saying, love tonight when Nurse got slew-footed. He stays out for the power play and gets the assist on the Ekholm goal. The Oilers power play striking. All right.
I would have liked to know what he said. I would love to know what Killorn said to Nurse, because he must have said, hey, bud, like, because normally it's 6'2". You're not going to be like, oh, thank you for that. That was really nice.
But so, Killorn is not like, Killorn wants nothing to do with any of that.
No, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what he wants or doesn't want. He started it. So the guy who is the victim can finish it. That's how I see it. It doesn't matter what you want or don't want. You've done it already. So there's a price to be paid for that type of dangerous play.
Yeah, what I'm saying is my guess is Killorn was trying to disengage and de-escalate.
Oh, for sure he was.
Yeah.
He had to have.
Yeah.
That, like Darnell, he kind of got up and looked at him and he's like, okay, said something and it was down.
Speaking of disengaging and de-escalating, was I the only one that thought McDavid should have got 2 for running over the goalie?
Yeah, I agree. Why
was
do
that?
Why do you not think he got it? Because I have a theory.
I don't know, because they were so cordial and happy with one another and high-fiving and like everybody seemed fine. Nobody was upset. It was, what's your theory? I don't know.
I think it's because he's outside the blue paint. I think he was outside the blue paint. And Connor, I believe a skater should be able to skate through or towards the net outside the blue paint. And if the goalie's outside, I believe it's open season.
It was right on the edge, wasn't it? Like, I don't know if it was way outside it.
Well, no, I think he was just, I felt like he was outside it.
Yeah. That's probably why.
Because you can't, I think a player should be allowed to go in and around the blue paint. So not in, around the blue paint. If he runs in the goalie, that means the goalie's out of the blue paint. That's not his area. Like, how far are we going to extend it out? So that's what I think it was, because it was not intentional, that's for sure. But Connor had no idea that the goalie is that far out.
JC says McDavid was just trying to ask Gibson if he'd consider coming to Edmonton and got a bit too excited. No big deal. That was Sprinkling the Infield, brought to you by Backscape. When we come back, Struddy's World. Apparently he's sick and tired of it. Sick and bloody tired of it. Something to do with Jack Campbell. So stick around to find out.
Are you ready to elevate your moving experience? Trusted for over 100 years, Ferguson Moving and Storage are your partners in relocation, ensuring your journey is smooth and stress-free. And say goodbye to surprises with Ferguson's transparent flat rate pricing. Contact them now for a free moving quote and use a promo code Ferguson to receive $100 off your next move. Visit FergusonMoving.com and let them lift your expectations.
Winter is upon us, so why not make the best of it? Marmot Basin Ski Resort is where it's at. Ski half price every day, no blackout periods. Pick up your escape card for $99 and make winter fun more affordable. Half the price, all the powder. Get yours at www.skimarmot.com.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
All right, time for Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl, Fencing and Decking. They've got locations in Calgary and in Edmonton. They provide beautiful, maintenance-free vinyl fencing and decking materials. The key is maintenance-free, right? Because nobody likes sanding or staining or painting. The beautiful thing about this product, and I've got some of it on my deck right now and in the backyard, you put it in once and you leave it alone. It stays fantastic. It stays new looking year after year after year. Highly recommend going with maintenance-free fencing and decking, and DLR Vinyl can hook you up. Rick runs the branch here at Edmonton, or call Rob out in Calgary, and you can see all they have to offer, dlrvinylproducts.ca. That's the company that our dad started back in the day, and now my brother's proudly running it. Struddy, what do you got, buddy?
I'm not going to sit here and say that the insiders are wrong, or that the Edmontoners are wrong in what they want to do, or even the fans, what they want. But I am saying I'm disagreeing with all of them. So the word is out there through various sources that the Edmonton Oilers would like to bring Jack Campbell back to get a look, to assume that he's going to be better. He'll just be cured. Like the light has been switched on. He's been down there. He's 1-4. He's had 5 games at 16 goals against, 1 win in 5 times. His save percentage is right around 88%. What is going on with Jack Campbell, or what is happening with Jack Campbell, cannot be cured by just going down for a short stint, say, hey man, did you learn your lesson? And now come back out. It's not that he wasn't working hard. It's not that he wasn't trying. There is something fundamentally wrong with the way he feels about his game, about the way his mental game is. I'm not sure what it is, but it is not going to be turned on and off. The idea of him going down and being there now for, let's just say it's another week. Then he comes back up anytime before Christmas and things are going to be different. It's not going to happen. It does not happen that way. First, you got to get the mind feeling good about itself. And I'm not talking about mental wellness. I'm just talking about feeling good about your game in its own. And then you get the pads feeling good. You feel the gloves feeling good and have some good starts down there. It's not good. A period or two of good hockey, anyone can have that. Anyone can have that at that level. You need to have sustained success. So when he comes back up, it can be sustained. What people are suggesting is like someone who all of a sudden after Halloween tries on their pair of slacks, shorts, tight jeans like Shocker, and find they're a little tight. Did someone shrink my pants? No, no one shrunk it. You're 10 pounds heavier. So then you go to the gym one day and say, oh, they should fit tomorrow. It's not going to work like that. You're going to have to be disciplined. You're going to have to get on that elliptical. You're going to have to stop eating the candy. Maybe go for a walk every day instead of just watching the Netflix. It takes time to change where you're at. Much like this suggestion of the tight pants after Halloween, it's the same thing with Jack Campbell. So I can't believe that the Oilers would think about bringing him back before Christmas. It just, and they're smart guys over there, but it makes no sense to me, Schauger, and I'm tired of hearing about it. Leave him down there till the new year.
Yeah, and I reported it the other day in a string of tweets I had about Ken Holland and the trade scenario and such. I said, do not be surprised if Jack Campbell gets another look here, depending on how it goes. Coming off that shutout, and then they played a few games here this weekend. I think they're going to keep a close eye on it. But if Jack Campbell, Struddy, puts together 3-4 good games where he looks like he's playing well, my sense is we could see him back up here fairly quickly. So that my sense is that's not the headspace that the organization is at, that this is going to be a 2-month experiment down there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just don't think you're going to see any change. I really don't. Now, I was very interested to see the reports that he brought Manny Legacy, or asked to have Manny Legacy, a guy he's worked with before.
Yeah, he went in.
Come down and work with him. And I like that. Like, I think. Like,
so here's a question for you, Struds. Should he come with him too if he plays well and comes up? Because now you're getting into it a little bit.
Yeah, that is like, one goalie coach is great. 2 goalie coaches, that's a problem. Who's in charge? Who's doing what? Who's viewing who? And then people are getting their shorts in a bunch because maybe they're cutting into their job description. Like it is really messy. And I'm guessing the Oilers would love for Campbell to turn it around. And if Manny Legacy's there and he helps turn it around, are you going to say, okay, Manny, time to go home again, go back to wherever he's, Lansing, Michigan, and go over to that MGM casino and have a good time? No, I think you got to bring it back because you have a $5 million asset sitting there that needs to play and play well.
Part of the thought process is this, that to go out and try and find a goalie is going to require assets out the door. And I don't think they want to, because I don't think there's any great deals sitting there for them. But they believe that part of the way out of this is internal solutions, that it has to be about internal solutions rather than just spending a bunch of capital and assets, which goaltending would cost you a ton to try and fix. Trying to erase the Jack Campbell mistake is going to be monumentally expensive. A buyout is like $10 million or something ridiculous like that. How many picks is that going to cost? So they believe the solutions need to be internal. And if Jack Campbell shows like he's getting a little bit of confidence, I think that they're going to give him the look. I don't think there's a 2-month plan here. And we got a few comments here in on the stream. K Gill 97 says, yes, bring Legacy with him. Obifawan says 100% agree, Struds. The guy brings bad mojo. Totally agree with Struds on soup, says Quaddy.
Well, excuse me. I want to be clear what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's a bad guy or anything like that. I just know when you are a goalie and you feel unsure of your skill set, it's not one game that turns it around. It is. Now, you might look back and say, this was the game that got me going. Just like we might say that in with the Oilers team and say, you know what, Washington, that might have been the team when we look back a month from now and say, you know what, Washington was a game that turned this team around. Or maybe, and I was critical of it, maybe the third period in Carolina, maybe that was it. We won't know for a month. But as a goalie, I don't know how you can look down and whether it's Sly Rodrigue or the goalie coach up here, what's his name again?
Up here?
Yeah.
Now you're making me blank.
This is embarrassing.
Dustin Schwartz.
Know it.
Dustin Schwartz. I just totally caught your amnesia.
Yeah. So how are those two gentlemen going to know from one game? Oh, he's back. You're rebuilding a game. You're rebuilding the skill set of a player. I just don't think I get it. I get wanting to build them in front, like rebuild from inside. Now, helping that I think buys them time is the wins the Oilers are putting up, right? 5 in their last 8. That does help. There's no doubt about it. But you got to do right by the player, because if you bring him up here and he lets in 4 goals on 8 shots in his first game, where is he at? He's right back where he was before he went through the whole process of sending the AHL. So I'd be very, very leery of bringing him back. I said it before, and I'll stand by it, Schauger. I would not see him before at least Christmas. At least. That's
Zuby might have the save of the night, by the way. Swooping in from the outfield there to save us with such a brain-dead moment there from both Struddy and I. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products. Zuby, you've been watching the stream closely. Let's get to Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Match Eatery and Public House. Holiday gifting is great at Match. Purchase a $50 gift card, receive a bonus $10 card, and 2 Match-branded beer sleeves. Gift cards are available in the restaurants and at matchpub.com. Match Pub is your Ice District dining destination. Struddy, we got to get over there. Try those wings. They one of our ad reads describes their wings, and they sound sensational. So no excuses during this homestand. We're getting over to Match for some of those wings.
I like it. I go there often before games. I love it.
We'll do that. We'll head out there before one of the games, and we'll try them out, and then we'll give you a review on the podcast. Zuby, how's everybody doing tonight?
Oh, good. Lots of fun. It's always a nice night on the stream with a win. There's lots of good, mostly happy people. Until we started talking about Dustin Schwartz, that brings out for a lot. That's a real trigger for a lot of folks here on the stream. But I think we've covered that now. Penner's Pancakes said, Hyman and Kane are pillars of consistency. Solid play from them tonight. And if I could just piggyback that, Shane Matheson said, Evander Kane, 10 hits tonight. Got the energy flowing. And by the way, that appears to put him in the lead in league-wide for hits, Evander Kane.
Good for him.
Yeah, those two guys, I mean, they when the two big boys weren't feeling it, those two guys have kind of been going at it, bringing the energy. And now you add in Connor and Leon going, Nuge, finding a gear. The last piece of the puzzle for that top 6 is Connor Brown. He got it on the board tonight, made a nice play to Kane, right? So, man, I'd love to see him score one, or even have a night, like a 3-point night. They got to get him going, get him scoring. And now you have 6 guys wheeling and dealing. With Janmark back, that helps. At some point, Holloway will be back. You can kind of start to see the way that Ken Holland envisioned this playing out.
Did Penner's Pancakes get a mention from Ron McLean the other day? I thought I saw or heard or something like that. I thought I heard Ron McLean say Penner's Pancakes the other day. So I don't know if anybody on the stream heard that or not, but let us know if you did, because I certainly did. Go ahead, Zuby.
Well, let's segue into the Ken Holland stuff there, as Struds just mentioned it. So Elite Gamer said, do you think this, and by this I think he means this little resurgence here, do you think this affects Holland's plan to make a move?
I'll take that one first. I don't think that it changes the number of phone calls that you're making. I don't think that it changes your sense of urgency to try and find ways to improve this club. I think especially because they won 3 in a row and then absolutely went right back into the tank and showed some of the signs that they had earlier. So, it probably takes your sense of urgency from a 9 out of 10 before, maybe down to an 8. But if there's a deal that you think helps this team that isn't too risky, I still think you have to do it. I still think it's incumbent on him to try and help this group, Struddy. And a couple of wins here, I don't think should take the wind out of those sails.
Well, I think what does slow us down a bit is that 97's rolling, because 97 is really, he's a cure-all, right? He's a cure-all for everything. So I agree. If there's a trade you can make that helps the team, that makes sense. That's the biggest thing, that makes sense. You don't want to just be throwing assets at the door. Something that makes sense. But so 97 seems to be going again. I've mentioned the guys that are rolling. Fogle, McLeod. Hopefully he can get himself going. McLeod and Connor Brown are the two guys now I'm looking at. Those are the two guys. If you can get those two guys going before Christmas, and by going, I don't mean killing it, but there's something going there. I think that it'll help. There was a play in the second period that I think is exactly what Ryan McLeod needs to be. It was, I think, halfway through the second. He used his body shield, knocked someone off the puck, and took it in the offensive zone. Beautiful. He was able to get there because of speed, and he used his body to knock it off. So I believe it makes it less, if I was a GM, it'd make it less likely I'm going to make a desperation move if the guys are able to keep clawing back points, right? Night by night by night.
Ryan McLeod, 15 minutes, -1 and 1 hit tonight, and 1 apparent normal hockey play, according to Jason Strudwick. Go ahead, Zuby.
Nice, notable. It was
That's
notable.
a normal hockey play. That is notable because it's him.
Notable.
Davin and Bitumen chiming in saying that Penner's Pancakes did get a shout out from Ryan.
Yeah,
So
thought I heard that.
JL says Ernie was more noticeable tonight. Someone else mentioned him as well. JL adds, is this the end of the Sam Gagner experiment?
I don't think so. I mean, there'll be ebbs and flows in the lineup. Some of these guys are going to play, okay on some nights and better on others. I don't think there's a reason to declare anything at an end, Struds.
No, it's a long season. It's just like when people say this is the starting lineup. Well, who cares? What's the starting lineup in game 2 or game 5 or game 20 or game 83, right? So he's going to get back in there, and Sam's a pro, and he's here. He's not here to play 82 games, probably 40, 30, 20. Who knows what he's going to be. He's the extra guy, and he'd understand that. He's been around long enough.
A couple more, Zuby.
Obelisks 21 says the Oilers managed to get quite a few line changes in the second while on the forecheck, which is a key for them as the second has been such a bad period for them. Did you guys notice that?
Yeah, some long changes. It's helpful. I mean, the change does make a difference, but other teams are able to deal with the change, right? So you got to figure out how to change, when to change, maybe when you're coming up the ice rather than when you're coming back and all those types of things. But those if to go back again to Hyman, I think we all know what my gem of the day is going to be. When you take the puck deep and you get it behind their D-men, now your opponents have a chance to, or your teammates have a chance to change. How many times have we seen the second period where the Oilers don't get the puck deep and now it's back? It doesn't mean dump. He's carried it in, chip it behind the D-men, and now it's coming back and gets jammed down their throats.
My only comment on changes is they don't hustle to the bench as a team enough, and that trickles down from the top.
Okay, one more quick one, and then a little story setup. So Elite Gamer says, will you say that the Oilers are back if they can beat Vegas on Tuesday?
I will say that is a giant step towards that team starting to feel normal again. I still don't think they feel normal. I think that it was so jarring what they endured and put themselves through for the first few weeks that it's going to take more than what we've seen so far for them to feel normal. I think that is their first chance to take a major step. Struds?
I don't think they're back. When they're in the playoff spot, I'll say they're back, because it's so much work, like, to catch up what they need to do. And I'm not talking about a legit playoff spot. We're talking wild card spot.
Okay, I think we touched on this one other show many, many moons ago, but today's the anniversary of the Merrick Malik crazy shootout goal when he won the shootout with the between the legs move. And it was like the 11th round. I think that was the first year of the shootout. I've got story time with Struds queued up if we want to hit it. I just want what you remember, Struds, about that. Here, I'll
cue story time with Struds. Let's do it. I love it. Look at this animation. That young face, all that hair, Struddy.
Yeah.
Nice work, Zuby.
So good.
Struddy, take us on a journey, bud.
Yeah. So it was the first year of the shootout. No one really knew what was going on. People usually went second instead of going first. But anyways, we're going against Washington, a young Alex Ovechkin, and we have Henrik Lundqvist in net. So generally speaking, you'd get to the overtime, and I would literally undo my skates because I'm like, there's no chance I'm getting out there. I am deep in the rotation. So now I think both teams scored one in the first three. Then it kind of started going on, and maybe got to the seventh. Someone scored again. But what happens is in the shootout is that the goalies are awesome the whole way through. But the players you put out continually get worse. So you go from Yager down to Ortmeyer down to wherever. Like it's a steep drop off after about 5 or 6. So now we get to the point where it's getting down. There's like 3 or 4 of us, and the Capitals sent out this guy Brian Weir, and he scores. And there's like myself, Merrick Malik, Darius Kasparaitis, and this guy Fedor Tudin who broke his finger in that game. And I had redone my skates now up like around 11 or 12. And because the trainer said, I think you might have to go. I'm like, there's no chance. I'm like, well, what if he's right? So I do them up.
You undid your skates?
Yeah, I did. Because there's no way I'm going out. So Tom, like not taking them off, I loosen them up. I feel like slippers. So Tom Rennie looks down and he's like, Struddy, you're up. And I pretended like I didn't hear him. It was like I'm in class. Like, I don't want the answer. He's like, Struddy, you're up. And he looks at me. He kind of gives me this one. Like, I'm like, what the? So I jump over. Now I got to score. The place is rocking. My teammates are walking back to the room. They're like, this is over. We're not scoring. So I get in there and I'm twirling my stick around like young blood. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm like, I just remember thinking I have to hit the net, make the goalie make a save, right? Like make a goal and make a save. So I go down there and I take a shot, and I think I was going top shelf. I fanned on it, probably went under in his arm, bang, knocked the bottle off. And I just put my hands up, and I was so relieved. I wasn't even happy. I was just relieved because I wasn't the loser. Yeah. Well, I couldn't keep this thing going. I go back to the bench, and my teammates are running back from the dressing room, high-fiving me, and it was just crazy. I smashed the wall. And then Merrick Malik goes out, and he did. And it was crazy. And it was like the MSG is so great. The place was going nuts because it was like 2 worker bees that got it done, right? And after the game, the owner of the Knicks called in and said they wanted Malik and I to go to the next day of the Knicks game. And we sat courtside, and they replayed this, and people were like chanting like Ranger, like it was just crazy. Like it was such a great event.
That's awesome.
And so cool to be a part of. And I'll never forget. I still get nervous when I watch the video. My kids will put it on every now and then. I still get nervous, thinking, "Am I going to score, or is this the one I don't score on?" Right? Like, and I never got used again. Moment. They never went 1-for-1. They never, and the coach never called it. I got ice in my veins. They never called me again.
100%. That's fantastic, man.
That's amazing.
I'm actually happy that I never broke, because it would be 50% isn't as cool a story as 100, right?
Yeah, no. Don't just leave it alone. Yeah. Like drop the mic and walk out on that. 100%. A 1-for-1 career. Right. Zuby, let's do one more. Bison Mask guy there was asking me, and he was begging you to ask because he put it in a few times. Basically, he was asking who was more disappointed, the Oilers with their start this year or the Elks in either of the last couple of seasons. I've been in both locker rooms and covered both teams. And thanks for the question. Definitely the Oilers this year. Expectations being as sky high as they were. The Elks, everybody kind of knew they were going to be crappy. They thought maybe a little less crappy this year, but still fairly crappy. So I would say based on just the sheer disappointment of missed expectations, it's the Edmonton Oilers, and by quite a bit. That was Ask Us Anything, brought to you by Match Eatery. Struds, time to wrap the show up. And as we do, we put a focus on our gem of the night, brought to you by United Sport and Cycle, Edmonton's most iconic home for everything sports. Until the 27th, you can shop their Black Friday sales for amazing deals on hockey gear, stick skates, bikes, and accessories, and even more. So you've got until tomorrow, according to this promo. But they've always got great deals that are worth checking out down at United Sport and Cycle. Check them out online at unitedsport.ca. You got a gem of the night in mind, Struds?
No surprise here. I talk about, Zach Hyman was asked about playing faster, and he said, we did play faster, but what we did is we put the puck behind their D, didn't turn it over at their blue line or the top of their circles, and that was able to get our ground and pound game going. And that is the style they need to have. And Zach Hyman's 100% right. It's not unskilled. It's just smart hockey.
It's been a simplification of their game. And remember before, Struds, we said the power play wasn't working. right? When the power play wasn't working and the big guys were having trouble, what game do you have to lean on? What are the qualities in your game that when it's not going well, you can lean on those qualities? And I would submit to you that type of hockey is something you can distill it down to when things aren't going well.
100%. Well said.
Thank you. That was the gem of the night, according to me. I'm calling my own number. What I just said. There you go. United Sport and Cycle gets 2. Good job tonight, Struds. Thanks, my friend.
Have a great night, buddy.
All right, Zuby, good job by you as well, sir. And thanks to you for joining us on the live stream tonight. Or if you're listening on podcast form on Monday morning, hope your week's off to a great start. We're going to drop a podcast after that Vegas game. Big game for the Oilers. It's going to be tons of fun. And we will be here on Got Your Back to break it all down. Big thanks to our title sponsors, Sherwood Buick GMC. Chat soon, folks. Cheers.